Hey folks, happy Tuesday, I guess. It's Aunt Diane. Um, a good friend of mine was scammed for $15,000 through the internet and the telephone. I had warned him, that people like that might call, but I guess these people were just so tricky and he didn't know the exact tricks they were using. He knew some of the more obvious ones, but these people were very sneaky. And I'll tell you how it happened. And so it began. A pretty girl sent a friend request to my friend, which he accepted, and they're talking online. This is not live, these are just still pictures, okay? And she says, I have no money for food or this or that. She gives him a hard luck story. He either sends her a gift card for 50 or 500. I don't remember, but after the whole scam was over, he had sent 15,000 after scammers, and we don't even know if they're connected or not. Anyway, he scratches off and shows the code on the back so she could use it. And she said it didn't work. And I don't know if he sent her another one. I think he said he called Amazon or something, and yes, it did work. And then he figured out she was a scammer. And he puts on Facebook a few days later the fake profile picture and everything, saying, look out for this girl, she's a scammer. And a few other people like, oh man, I'm sorry. And I said, are you sure it's not a man pretending to be a woman? Because that's a catfish, and it happens all the time. And he was like, well, I won't do that again. Now, either this catfish was the same person posing as other people, or once they know they get somebody, they get other people too. And you go on like the suckers list, I guess, and other people know that you're an easy mark. Now, I didn't want to be nosy and ask if he joined a dating site or anything, but he said that some girl, maybe it was Facebook dating, I don't know, which is not trustworthy. I don't trust any dating sites. She said that she'll be with him for like a certain amount of money or something. He's like, what, are you kidding? Forget that, so he said no to that, luckily. Now, my friend also got an email or a message from somebody who admitted he was a guy, but he said, do you want to make some money or something like that? He was using him as a money mule. And after all this happened and we're talking, I said, you could get in big trouble for that. Actually, and I'm going to tell the end first, just to let you know, usually if you're caught doing that by your bank, they get rid of you. What they did was they just closed his account and opened a new one for him. So that was nice of them. He's been with them for years. But I've heard of other people losing their bank account and they don't want you as a customer anymore, which I would understand. They probably just understood that he was taken for a ride and he learned his lesson and he won't be doing that again. But anyway, the man sends him a check. And the check is actually good this time. It was for a couple hundred. And he was supposed to deposit it and then send that amount of money on to a third person. Okay, money laundering. And he did it and everything was legit. Then the same people, the guy sent a racy picture of his niece or somebody and said, do you want to be with her or something? He's like, oh, no way. That's gross. Prostituting out your daughter or niece or whoever the hell it is. But then he did another thing where he sent a very, not a very large check, but a check for like, I think $15,000 or something like that. But he was given little amounts of money. So let's just say $10,000, okay? And he told my friend to put it in an ATM machine. There's a reason he did that. If he took it right to the bank, the teller would have looked at the check and said, this is not a real check. She has a way of telling. But when you put it in an ATM machine, it's just like, there's no little brain inside there that knows, oh, this is real, this is fake. And they asked him to get Bitcoin and send it to them, which he did. not realizing that because he did that, he figured, well, I trusted him the first time, so I'm sure he's okay. Um, he said that they took the check back. I said, no, the check was never good to begin with. He had to get stuck for all that money. So he had a very small pension before he retired and wiped it totally out. And I feel bad because this guy is not in good health. He's not in great health. He's retired. He lives alone. And that was the last thing he needed. And, sometimes we could watch videos on social catfish or one of those channels where a woman falls in love with a man and it's not really him, it's catfish. And some of them lose their home. One lady committed, she unalived herself in Canada. And other people it just ruined their whole life. Okay. And so thank God it wasn't a big amount, but to him it was a big amount. But now he's just licking his wounds and learning his lesson and going on. And, you know, it just really bothers me. It would bother me no matter who it is, but because it was a friend of mine, it really bothered me. And after that, he switched bank accounts and everything. Anytime somebody is sending you a check, say, I don't want a check. Get out of here. If I don't see you live. Oh, and he noticed an accent, and the guy said he was from Barbados, in the Caribbean. That accent is almost exactly like a Nigerian accent. If you listen to the two of them, they are very similar. Okay, in fact, some of the people that live there probably had immigrated from Africa, from Northwest Africa, or Central West Africa, because Ghana and a few other countries around there have that same accent. So they may have spoken by phone. He didn't want to, I told him, can I tell you a story? And I won't give your name. And he said, yeah, go ahead. So I didn't want to be too nosy, but long story short, they never face-to-face chatted. By the way, if somebody is saying they're chatting face-to-face, I want to see one chat that's realistic. The ones I've seen have somebody going, the fake picture, and it's not matching what the words are saying. But the guy didn't even do that. Okay, so he was taken for that money, unfortunately, and I pray that he learns his lesson and never does it again. I know it comes out of loneliness. He said, well, at least I was being a good Christian. I think one of the Christian rules is love thyself. And I know he did it with a pure heart. In fact, all these people that get taken by scammers do it with a pure heart, and because, they're hoping for friendship or even love or whatever. In this case, it was just, friendship. And he must have been bored. And, it's interesting sometimes talking to people from other countries. And it did not end well, and it's horrible. I also told him, and I'm telling you guys, if somebody says, I know somebody that can get your money back for you, or you get an email, were you scammed? We can get your money back. No. If it's Bitcoin, it's not traceable. Gift cards are not traceable. There are a couple channels where when you send them something, you can actually jump on if they're on a webcam and actually get their real picture. A lady who does another channel who I highly respect, and she's hilarious. She's going to actually have me as a guest on her channel to interview me. And she's hilarious, and she's been doing it for years. She actually was able to get the picture of the real guy and put it side by side with the fake picture that he was given. She goes, well, these two don't look alike. It was pretty funny. It was some kid, teenager, whatever. She's like, what a waste this young man is making of his life. And it's true. A lot of times they're just teenagers. And I'm not singling out Nigeria. There are other countries that do it too. There is another channel that turns the tables on tech support scammers. And he's hilarious. But he has an actual other computer, a fake computer, where you can go back and forth and pretend it's his bank account and it's really not. And he actually says he's sending a card. Sometimes he plays a dumb old man. Sometimes he plays a dumb old lady. It's pretty funny. And he'll say, oh, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. And they'll play them, don't scratch it off. And these people are from India, these scammers. Don't scratch it off. Oh, scratch it off? Okay. And the person's yelling on the other end, I said, don't scratch it off. There are people, and that's why me too, when I get so-called romantic offers on Instagram, and once in a while on Facebook, usually Instagram, I have fun with it because I know damn well I'm not going to give them a damn thing. And I also know that it's a fake. By the way, I follow a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of celebrities. Brian May, for one. I love his guitar playing. And I've gotten about 10 Brian May imposters, and one even pretending to be his daughter. Finally, on his real page, he does a snapshot, and I had, written to him, but I'm sure he gets thousands, if not millions of messages. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but he's not going to see my little old message. But apparently maybe he got so many that he just got fed up, and he put a picture of a fake profile on his real profile and said, people, please don't fall for this. And he kind of made a few angry comments about people who do that, and a lot of people, including myself, were saying, yeah, I got a few like that said they were you. I got from The Rock. Let me see who else. A lot of them. Some of them were just like weightlifters and stuff, and it was probably some scrawny little teenage guy in Nigeria or India, or there's even some in America. So it's not like one country corners the market. It's just that Nigeria's been doing it the longest. If you've ever heard of the Nigerian prince scheme, we are giving you so and so amount of money and all that. They want your bank account info and everything. It's really horrible. And then they just go steal your money. And if somebody's on a computer for the first time, especially a retiree or a woman who's lost her husband and she's just getting acquainted with a computer for the first time, she could be very vulnerable to this kind of thing, especially if she lives alone. Luckily, in some cases, the adult child of the the would-be victim is right there to keep an eye on them and say, no, Mom, that's no good. That's a scammer. But not always. I'd say a lot of them get scammed, unfortunately, and they're lonely, they're widowed or divorced, and that's the same old story, right? But some young, good-looking people even get taken for a ride as well. So no matter what, I won't even entertain, I don't even want to date again in my life. I don't care. But especially not somebody who I meet online. And if you look at their English when they're typing, they're not speaking proper English. Yes, they do know English, but it's not the way we speak. They will speak in a very uneducated way. They won't put punctuation. You can just tell after a while. I mean, I can spot them a mile away. And I guess myself and all the anti-scam community, I will speak for them. All the anti-scammers on YouTube who probably don't even know who I am, just a few do, but most of them don't. I'm with them all the way. I say this is not competition, it's teamwork. Hopefully one day, these scammers will just say, what's the use? I mean, I know it's a crazy dream, but you never know. They need to find something else to do. And I know some of them come from places with corrupt governments. They need to do something from there. We're not going to go send an army in and kill their president. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. We don't have the power to do that. By the way, I was reading an article, and the older people in Nigeria are very ashamed of what the younger people are doing. they don't like it because it's giving their whole country a bad name, which is sad because they are honest people and they don't like these teenagers and whatever. Some of them have iPhones. I don't even have an iPhone. I have an Android. And these people trying to get money off me thinking I'm some rich American and they have a nicer phone than me. Come on. There are so many things out there that you have to be careful of. And one more thing I'm going to mention, I'm going to do a whole video on it, but I'm just going to mention, be careful of fake VPN companies. They are out there now, believe it or not. Anything that's legit, something fake is going to come along and try to copycat. And some of them just want to get onto your phone or onto your computer and steal your information or put bugs on it or put virus bug and just steal your information. So please, folks, be careful. Let's pray that this stops happening because it's really not fair. You never see any millionaires getting scammed. I mean, maybe they do, but you don't hear about it. Maybe they're a millionaire because they're smart and it doesn't happen. But it's not always something to do with being smart or not. I think it's just they sense when you're vulnerable. They must sense when you're vulnerable because they know all the right things to say. Now me, I'm an old lady. Well, I'm a middle-aged. Well, I'm old now, but I'm very smartened up. I've been corrupted. There's no way I'm going to trust that. But maybe there are others who will, of all ages, by the way. Even a young kid. How many young kids have been murdered by somebody who's older, who pretends they're someone their own age? That has happened. I did a video on that, I think, several months ago. Catfish can be deadly, I think was the name of the video. I just want to tell everybody, stay safe out there. And want to send my love to you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.